Abby, and I have been a tutor on Preply for almost 7 years now. So I have some important tips to share with you and questions to answer today so that you can have a great experience on Preply. So my first tip for you, remember that rescheduling a class is always better than canceling a class. Especially if you are on a subscription plan, you have a certain number of hours you need to use in the month, so rescheduling is always better than canceling. Second, what to do if you're late to class? Well, if you can, it's always best to send a little message to the teacher letting them know you will be late. I recommend downloading the Preply app so you can just send a quick message. And remember, the tutors need to wait for you up to 20 or 30 minutes. If you will be more than 30 minutes late, the class will be counted as an absence. So you definitely need to let the tutor know if you're going to be more than 30 minutes late. Third, if you need to cancel a class, remember that Preply has a 4-hour cancellation policy. So you will be charged for the class if you cancel less than 4 hours in advance. However, there are often emergencies or problems and situations that come up, so I recommend if you really do need to cancel a class, send a message to your tutor first, explaining the situation to them. It's always possible they may be able to reschedule the class from their side as well. So that's what I would suggest. Fourth tip, it's always better if you can schedule a weekly lesson than an individual lesson. In this case, if you schedule a weekly lesson, it will help you in 2 ways. First of all, it will help you be more consistent overall. Secondly, you won't need to go to the trouble of finding time slots available each week because this time slot will be reserved for you and other students won't be able to book during that time. From what I have seen, students who schedule weekly lessons are much more consistent overall. If you cannot schedule a weekly lesson, try to schedule in advance as much as possible because the schedules do tend to fill up a little bit. My next tip for you is make sure you check the schedule more than once. If you are scheduling individually, sometimes other students may cancel or reschedule throughout the week, so you can check these hours throughout the week to make sure there may be some other available times. My sixth tip is actually one of the most important. Make sure you have a study plan. You need to have some way to review the material you're learning in your classes. I suggest writing down the words you are learning, taking notes, using flashcards, whatever works best for you, but you need to have a system in place because as a successful student, you need to do more than just attend your class. You also need to have a plan to review and practice what you are learning. Seventh tip for you, remember that your subscription plan will be charged automatically. So if you need to cancel or pause your subscription, make sure you do that before the date on your billing cycle. My next tip for you is to be sure to ask for what you want. If you feel like something in the class isn't exactly what you were hoping for, or there's something more specific that you want to focus on, I'm sure that other tutors would say the same, but for me, I'm always open to suggestions, questions, or just specific things that you feel you really want to focus on. So don't be scared to put it out there and say what you really want to achieve in the class. Next up, it's really important to have a way to measure your progress. A great way to do this is by taking the placement test at the beginning when you start your classes, so that in a certain amount of time, maybe a year, maybe even more, you can take another level test and see how you are growing and improving. Another way that I used when I learned Spanish was to create videos or audios of myself, for myself, so that I could look back and see how much my speaking had improved. I hope that these tips can help you have a wonderful experience on the Preply platform, and I hope you enjoy it just as much as I do.